Today's video, we're going to talk about real estate lead generation on Facebook as well as Google to generate leads for the Holy Grail $20 each, where you can scale a campaign for your real estate agency, or if you're just a real estate agent, to where you can scale to where you're closing 5, 10, 20 houses a month, because the leads coming in are so hot and so good that you really don't have to spend time with each person. I'm going to explain exactly how you do that, both on Google as well as Facebook, as well as YouTube, demand gen, display campaigns, which if you don't know what those are, I'll get into it. But you ultimately want to stay to the end, because not only am I going to tell you how to do this, but I'm going to tell you how profitable it is. That is, what kind of the closing rate on the leads that you're going to get is. What's the cost per actual sale that you're going to get is. I'm going to go over those hard numbers on this video, so there's no question as to whether or not you want to do this for your real estate agency that you run, or if you're just a real estate agent trying to finally climb out of the abyss of trying to finally find a way to run ads for your business that can generate the leads that you want and need for you to make money finally. So don't worry, by the end of the video, you'll have it figured out. With that said, I'm going to get it directly into it. Now, the very first thing I got to tell you, okay, you got to get through your thick skull before you can make millions of dollars in commissions a year for your business running this strategy, is you need to niche down, okay? Too many of you guys, it's common in all service markets. We want to serve everybody so we don't miss any sales. And the old saying is, if you try to appeal to everybody, you'll appeal to nobody. And that's absolutely the case, especially in the real estate space. But it's just very uncommon that people specialize. You could specialize in a whole number of ways. One of the ways that I seen somebody specialize in was just selling houses that have where the owner is going to need a boat stall where you can pull up your boat. That's one, which works extremely well, because you actually have to know something about boats in order to talk to the people that are going to inquire. And so if somebody sees that you have that knowledge, they're going to not maybe contact you, they're contacting you. Okay, bottom line. And it's just a matter of getting your ad in front of the person who's actually going to buy a house that has a boat. They're going to contact you, as long as it's in the geographic area that, of course, they want to buy a house in. But you get the general idea here. Your goal is to shrink who you're marketing to, but because you're so relevant for that audience, you're going to get super, super deep, and you're going to close so many of them. And for that matter, it's not limiting either, because you can always, if you were to not make as much money as you wanted, you could do another niche. And I'm going to talk about that. But once you've niched down, whether you're going to target people who want exposed brick apartments, or it's somebody who wants even a ranch style house, you can do this a number of different ways. You pick a niche that you feel like you can do well in. Hey, I recommend picking a niche where you can make a lot of money. So, everybody's trying to go for the big luxury house sales because the commissions are so high, but why not go after a certain niche within that so you can stand out as the go-to person? I'm going to go and go after premium markets every time. And because it takes the same amount of effort to make a sale there as it does on the house that costs $300,000 a year. So in my mind, there's no point in picking a niche where you're going to get small deals, because you only have so much time in the day, and this campaign's going to bring the leads to you. Your income's just going to be much higher when you go after the higher end deals, obviously. Now, as far as Google and Bing, once you're going to run ads on Google, it's also going to, if it works on Google, it'll work on Bing, which it will. You run on both. Bing's going to bring in 20% more leads, just because 20% of the market is roughly searching there. So, but what you're going to do once you have your niche, let's say your niche is Napa Valley homes, Napa Valley, California, where, they have all the wineries and stuff. Your niche is just targeting people in that small valley, which that may not sound like a niche, but if you target a small enough area, it is a niche in itself. You could target people who are in a certain condo or HOA community. That is easily a niche in itself. Why? Because there's no, gated community expert other than you that knows more about that little section of land than you do. So, and it's enough. Somebody sees your ad. They're not just going to be like, maybe I want this. I definitely want this, which is what your goal is, to niche down at least far enough so they say that. So you're going to then target people if it's Napa Valley homes that you're targeting, you're going to target people looking for Napa Valley homes. Or if you're doing exposed brick apartments in Chicago, you're going to target people looking for exposed brick apartments in Chicago. Okay. And you're going to drive them to a website that it's not going to talk about houses and all this, that if you're just doing exposed brick apartments, that's all it is. Because you're just going to kill it for yourself. If the ad says you're a specialist and your website doesn't specialize in it, it's just not, your campaign's not going to work, to keep it simple. You just got to get all the listings you can in the area for, as long as you have for the exposed brick apartments and condo for something that niche, as long as you have 10 or 20, you're already good. You don't need 100. You just need to seem like you're the expert so that they want to contact you. The main thing being that you say, when another exposed brick apartment and condo in Chicago opens up, we are going to have it first. And then they're going to subscribe for that. And because you get their information, you now have an open line to communicate with them. When they are eventually ready to buy, you got the sale. That's all you're doing here. So you target those people, you send them to your website. Different people do this differently. I mean, you could test what works for your market. Generally speaking, when they get to your website, they're going to be able to see a couple of the viewings itself before being asked, you must subscribe to view the rest of these viewings here. That's how we found, or at least working with our client, what works the best to get the most leads for the cheapest cost and get more profit out of the ad campaign than anything else. That said, some people are going to have a pop-up that says, subscribe for any new listings, get alerts. I don't like that one as much because people don't really think ahead like that as you think they do. People care about what they can do now. What happens in the future, maybe that will happen, maybe it won't. But if you tell me, my site's good, you niche down enough, it already has all the exposed brick apartments in Chicago that I ultimately am interested in, why the hell am I not going to enter my email address to see the rest of them on this website versus going to some other website and having to search around and go to this website and this, it's just all done for me. And all I got to do is just put my email address in there. I'll just do it. Even though they don't like giving their email address out because they know they're going to get pounded from a sales guy or gal, but they'll do it anyway, at least for what we found. So you can test it and do it your own way. That's, your first kind of place that you advertise that's going to get you the best leads, but it's limited because there's only so many people searching for your niche in your market. You might only get 5-10 leads a month this way if you're in a smaller market. That said, you're going to get leads for about $20 a pop because you're so niche. You're going to close about 1.5% of those leads into a eventual booking in terms of the rate of subscribers to bookings, which may not sound like a lot, but in the real estate industry as a whole, this 1 to 2% is actually pretty common in terms of lead generation, in terms of closings. And for that matter, that math works out to right around $1,330 a sale, so to say. And that's what we were getting for our client that we work with. And we put all this together in this space, which their particular niche market was the Napa Valley. So the exposed brick, we never actually did that one, but that's just another random off the wall example that I know would work. I like exposed brick apartments. That's why I mentioned it. I mean, this can be done 1,000 different ways. There's a million ways to skin a cat here, as they say. You just go with whatever you feel like you like the most. I mean, really, there's not that much to it. You can learn how to sell any type of real estate, really. But like I said, ultimately, when you max out one niche, you can do another niche. Just do little micro websites to the point where, you could also, if condos are selling at a certain condo development, you have a dedicated website just for those condos and have the best website for displaying all the content about those condos that there is, that you could do like that, or a certain HOA community, like I was saying before. Anyway, generally speaking though, it's easier to just go deeper on one niche than trying to start all these different niches because you have all these websites to manage, you got all this shit to learn. Just go and do the full plan on the one niche. Don't just go after Google and Bing search traffic. Once you got the Bing and search traffic done, then you can run your display campaigns through your Google Ads account, demand gen campaigns through your Google Ads account, and then your YouTube campaigns through your Google Ads account itself. And what you're doing is you're going to set up something called a custom intent audience. So targeting all the people who have recently searched on Google for Napa Valley homes or exposed brick apartments in Chicago and the like, so that if they browse the web in general after this, they're going to be hit with your ads that say, hey, we have the most Napa Valley real estate listings. We're the best #1 destination for this. And we have new listings going all the time. Click here to view the listings, essentially. So you already know that they're in market for this. So you don't have to get fancy. You don't have to say, we're going to give you X, Y, and Z. And it's so relevant at that point in time. All you need to do is just have that message on there. It's very simple. You're going to show up on YouTube. You're going to have video ads show up for them while they're watching other stuff. Your video ad for your niche will come up. They'll see banner ads on different websites that they visit. They'll see ads on Gmail if they go to Gmail. So basically, they're guaranteed to see your ads across the web. It's not a matter if they'll find it, it's just how much and how many. You can go and get more results here if you go ahead and you get fancier. You start having ads that say your awards you got for being the best real estate agent in Napa Valley. We did that kind of thing. You can have ones where you have testimonials on it and you tell the user a story by having them have a series of ads that they see ultimately. I would recommend doing that as well. But in general, your lead cost is going to be about $30. And what we found for this client was we got a 0.6% closing rate here, which is lower than the search ads by a lot, right? But the lead cost is still cheap and that was still doable. Where we're closing at, it's $5,000 in terms of marketing cost to generate that sale, which a lot of you guys, yeah, the average commission is going to be $15K. You spend $5 to get it. You're okay with that. A lot of you guys won't be cool with it, but it costs money to make money, as they say. You got other competition also advertising. You got to realize the cost that you're paying for a click is dependent on what other people are willing to pay for a click in your market. So if you're not willing to pay what they're willing to pay, you're never going to get the deals. And for me, I'm not even looking at it as far as a direct ROI that I'm getting from it, and that's it. That is that, I mean, I'm going to assume there's future sales going to be done with that person. Yes, it's going to be 5 years in the future that I deal with this person again, but all that's pure profit. So if I make a little bit on the front end, on the first deal, to build up a huge client list, that's great. I'm going to do that. As a quick side story, the #1 car salesman in the world, giving you an example from that world, what the guy did ultimately was he made sure that when somebody came in to buy a car from him, that they would absolutely always buy all their cars from him in the future. So they weren't pretending that they need the sale at all. They just want to make sure the user gets the information they need to buy the right car. So that when they buy the car, they're always going to want to buy from him. Not only that, but they followed up with him every Christmas, every birthday with a actual card saying happy birthday, happy Christmas. So he followed up with all those leads. So it basically locked in for himself any future car purchase that person would have, they're going directly to him. Because why would you go to anybody else? Especially since it's so hard to trust anybody in that space. So taking a page out of that book, once you get a sale, you pull that same, thing for yourself, given that you can easily do that. Because, hey, I just want to make sure you find the right exposed brick apartment in Chicago. I'm the expert. I don't care which one you buy. I've got them all. So essentially, or if I don't have the listing, I'll make sure you get it. And then, you make a partnership with other people that have those listings where you get a slice of the referral anyway, if you will. And then you can legitimately say, I don't care which one you buy. I'm just here to give you the information so you buy the right one. And you're going to get all the trust. And so that they ever buy one in the future ever again or sell it, you're going to get the listing and you're going to also find them another one. More so, you're going to get the listing because they like you so much. You followed up with them. You send them a birthday card every year for their birthday. They remember you. They're going to sell through you later on. And the wheel just keeps turning. So anyway, that is the formula there. Now, Facebook is different. The ROI is a little worse there, but it's profitable nevertheless. If you're just thinking big picture here, like I just mentioned. So with this, you have, though, a two-step sale. Whereas with the Google stuff, the reason why you can go with what they call a one-step sale is because you already know the person's in market for the type of real estate you have to offer. So you don't have to get fancy. You can just say, hey, I'm the #1 exposed brick condo apartment seller in Chicago. If you need one, here I am. And you obviously want to talk to me at the very least first or in general. On Facebook, you can't do that because, generally speaking, the general public don't care about dealing with the real estate agent. That if they're not in market for a house, yes, you might get lucky. Somebody's in market for an exposed brick house right now or could be compelled, and you could get the person that way. A much better route to go is to have a video that shows exposed brick apartments. And then if they watch that at least 75% of the way to completion, they're now on a secondary audience that you then hit with another direct pitch. So what this does is two-step sales process is the video pre-qualifies and builds an audience of people that you know are in market for your type of real estate that you're interested in. And maybe 1 out of 1,000 people in Chicago, if you're that person in Chicago selling the exposed brick apartments, actually care about exposed brick apartments at all, but we've sniffed it out. This guy right here loves them. He watched the whole video. We should market to him in the future. Then when he's going to ultimately buy a house in the future or apartment, we are going to be first in line to get that person's, attention. Given that the secondary direct pitch, we're just going to keep it going long term. We're going to do a trickle of advertising on it, ongoing for everybody who watched the first video to completion, and to the exact people, of course, though, that we know want to buy what we have to sell. And it's really that simple. So you have a video ad that's going to be like, let's say you're doing Victorian homes. Okay, look at all the beautiful Victorian homes. And so there's no sale there whatsoever. They're just thinking they're watching organic content, which most of the people are frankly going to be tricked into thinking that's what it is. It's just organic content. Some random person shared this. Of course, you can see if you look at the upper, who it's from, it'll say sponsored, but most people don't see that it's sponsored. Just like on Google search ads, they don't see the sponsor. They just click on whatever they click on. Not always, but a lot of the time, at the very least. So, and then you say you're the #1 Victorian home seller in all of LA on your ad later on, that then they see once every 2 weeks to 4 weeks, which costs you like a penny each time. And so now the first video ad just finds every single person in LA that cares about Victorian houses. And then from there, you just keep a trickle of advertising going to them indefinitely afterwards. And after you ran the initial blitz of the video ad to find all the people that are interested, you can keep that on a minimal level, just a small, tiny maintenance budget to keep finding the new people. But then but you don't need to keep hammering it. I mean, you do an initial blitz, and then that direct pitch ad will close and close and close more leads all the time, to the point where you're going to be paying $25 a lead long term. Won't be that way initially because you have to front load your advertising. But when this is cut down to a minimal budget and you just got this refined audience that you're marketing to, you should be at $25 a lead, as was our client in the Napa Valley area, with 0.35% closing rate of the leads that you capture, which is, I know that sounds really low. The reason for that is Facebook leads are just generally shittier. They're people that it wasn't their own idea, so to say, to reach out to a real estate company, and they didn't find you organically, if you will. So the lead isn't as good because of that. If you're talking about $25 a lead at a 0.35% closing rate, that's $7,142 a sale to be exact, which is pretty high, but it's still only half of what your average commission is going to be. Now, on top of that, if you're not happy your commission goes to advertising cost, well, then you're just going to go after a tighter demographic. So all the people in LA that want a Victorian home that's in the top 20% of income demographic are going to get you people that want to spend more money, and your commission's going to be higher. So it's just really a question of, do you want to market to people that are in the upper half, upper 20%, upper 10% of income demographic, or everybody? My suggestion would be to add a filter on your ads so that you at least go after the top 50%. Because the lower 50%, these people are just going to click on it and say, oh, that's interesting. They're never going to buy shit from you. And that weeds them out right up front. And this model, this two-step process right here, it does a very good job at weeding out bot traffic. Because one of the things that drives down the level of success you get with Facebook ads nowadays is all the bot traffic on there. And if they've had to watch the full video, that weeds out bots brilliantly. So that's the other reason why I like this two-step process, even though it's really required to get your ad spend to work in the real estate space. In addition to that, it does that also very well. It's just as a bonus. But, you know, ultimately, every business, every real estate agency, every real estate agent, it's going to be different. Your approach here is going to have to be adapted a little bit for your market to make it just really shine. Since I've got experience in this, of course, you can reach out to me at my agency and I can set this up for you. We do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in their profitability or profitability in general, to where in this case, it's going to be a certain amount of leads on a certain ad budget before we're starting to get paid. If you're interested in this, reach out to me at my agency at guaranteedppc.com, and I'd be happy to give you some estimates of what your results could be. I'll give you an 8-quarter projection for yourself to be able to see how much you can earn from this in your market for your niche or in general. In addition to that, I have templates. If you want to just buy the template that works for the real estate space and reframe it, readjust it, all that, we can also sell you that as well. Or if you're in a market if you want to get into a different market or in a different market, I can sell you the template for that as well. Technically, we've got 100 different plus niche market templates available, of which, as long as you're in a different market that our clients in geographically, we can sell it to you. Different country, different city, like that. If you have any questions about anything I'm covering here, you can leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours. I also am reachable via my Discord group that I opened up, which you can find the link in the video description for that. If you get into the group, there's a bunch of other people from the channel that follow the channel in there that'll also answer your questions. It's a great group of guys and gals in there. There's a free PPC course in there, just as a way of me saying thank you for joining the group. And if you have it, we want to get on a private call to ask a question, of course, I also do that as well. I work with agency owners and in companies alike, real estate agents alike. You can ask me whatever you want, and in a 30-minute call, we'll solve whatever problems you have. Reach out to me at my site if you're interested in that. But with that said, I want to sum this up and say that, like I mentioned, the easy thing to do for somebody who's not an ad expert is to start with the Google search ads, even though it has the least potential, because it's the easiest to get right, so to say. Then you should start getting into your, your display, demand gen, YouTube campaigns with people that are already in market for what you're selling, because you just got to simply say, hey, I'm the expert in this space. Then you can get into your Facebook stuff, which is the hardest to dial in right. But that's pretty much it. I mean, really, you got to get a really good site, really nice looking site, one that works well. I see a lot of real estate agents, crappy websites, and they just think they're going to send people to this, where, it's a template website for the real estate space. And they just dumped a bunch of listings in there, and that's going to work. No, you got to have a nice branded, custom looking website. This is going to truly work. And that's not going to just cost $3 or $4 or $5 grand to put together. If it's going to look nice and impress people and make people think that you're a legitimate player in the space that you're in, you need to be spending more than that to get your website looking nice. But you're going to make millions of dollars if you get the website looking nice, because that's the main differentiator between somebody that's going to get this to work and not. Am I willing to spend enough money to put together a nice site that can compete with Zillow, at least when considering that we have specialized listings on our site and they know they're going to deal with an expert if they call or inquire at any point. So you don't have to be as good as Zillow in terms of usability, but you can't be 20 times worse than Zillow, because that's what most people think they're going to get away with, and it's not good enough. You need to be half as good as Zillow or a third as good as Zillow and niche down enough, because ultimately, to give you a parallel example here, there's people that sell e-commerce products that reach out to us at our agency, at our ad agency. And ultimately, how do they compete with Amazon? Okay. The way that they compete with Amazon is because they specialize in what they do. And people know that if they have questions, they can call the seller or the number on the website and they can ask technical, detailed questions about the products that they're buying. They can do the same thing there. And the same thing can be said about Walmart or Home Depot or all the rest of it. If you go into those stores, you're not getting any expertise whatsoever. you can carve out a place in your market if you're an e-commerce brand by just providing better phone support or chat support, if you want to say that, because the big guys don't do it. Your edge on Zillow is simply you're an expert on this one niche. Of course, you got to have that and a website that's not a pain in the ass to use. But if you pair those together, there's no reason why you can't make money for your market and in your market, doing what you want to do and the niche you want to do it in. So for that matter, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching as usual, and I'll see you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.